The tranquility of the valley is shattered by a sudden commotion, drawing the adventurer's gaze as an air of restless curiosity fills the scene. Rustling from the bushes reveals an orange cat with a backpack, hopping out with a merchant's gleam in his eyes. Don't you want to see some good stuff? Expectation turns to palpable disappointment as they see a mere cherry tomato, while Theo secretly scoffs at their ignorance. Check the stats. Theo points confidently. The warrior's casual glance turns into a gaze of shock as the words decomposes fat stop his breath. Skepticism explodes into a frenzy as the crowd surges toward Theo like a tidal wave. Give me 200. I'll pay double. The spending spree erupts. When pressed about the source, a profit-flushed Theo smiles mysteriously. Meanwhile, deep within the tower's secret cave, the origin of it all thrives. Dew slides off a ripe tomato as Park Se-Jun wipes sweat from his brow, watching the rabbit's cart fill up with the cozy satisfaction of a good harvest. Let's rest. Crimson juice bursts forth as the queen bee eagerly adds golden honey, crafting a sweet reward exclusive to this moment. Shaking the cup vigorously, tomato and honey blend perfectly, the sloshing sound promising a drink of pure, swirling temptation. As night falls, the cold special blend slides down his throat. Se-Jun sighs in pure bliss, the moment of enjoyment washing away all fatigue. A system quest pops up demanding tribute, but Se-Jun waves it off in annoyance. He'd rather disappoint the mysterious administrator than spoil his peace. Before he can put down his cup, a familiar orange figure leaps from the rocks, shattering the silence with a cheer. "Master, I'm back!" Seeing the bag heavy with gold, Se-Jun lifts his top salesman high in the air, eyes burning with ambition for the future. But the cat is addicted to profit, rushing to restock before even sitting down. Se-Jun watches the frantic retreat with a mix of amusement and resignation. As the noise fades, Se-Jun faces the cold stone wall to mark the day. The dense tally marks stand as a testament to the long solitude he has endured in the dark. It's been 150 days. Park Se-Jun turns around, not with despair, but with the confident smile of a survivor. He is the tower's awakened farmer. Even in the despair of the 99th floor, with these companions by his side, this dark cave has become a home filled with hope. Gripping his sickle, his gaze hardens with determination. Having adapted to this hell, his story of fighting back begins officially now. This is the legendary record of an ordinary young man turning misfortune into fortune, surviving the Tower of Despair through farming. It all started 10 years ago, on the day a colossal black tower descended upon Central Seoul, rewriting the rules of the world forever. 10 years ago, the world was rewritten. Not just here, but across the globe, 100 mysterious black towers descended simultaneously, towering and indestructible, impervious even to nuclear strikes. Then, a miracle happened. The Awakened, wielding supernatural powers, emerged from the tower walls. Camera flashes erupted as humanity finally found a way into the fortress. News feeds exploded. All the towers were interconnected, and getting sucked into a black hole meant waking up on the first floor. This revelation instantly triggered a global frenzy. Officials announced the brutal yet alluring rules. Choose a class, kill monsters. If you survive, you might even earn the life-changing ticket. That golden ticket became the desire of every commoner. While the Awakened entered freely, ordinary people had to gamble their lives with this ticket just to get a slice of the pie. Why risk it all? When the red box was opened, the answer spilled out gold and jewels enough to drive anyone mad, wealth beyond lifetimes of spending. Climb the tower, get rich. This belief spread like a virus. Greed sparkled in people's eyes, seeing the tower not as a hell, but as a stairway to heaven. But reality is always cold. News of skyrocketing ticket prices chilled Park Se-Jun to the bone as he waited in line, the complaints around him stinging his pride and empty wallet. Trembling, he opened his banking app, calculating his meager savings over and over. 12 million won, still hopelessly far from the ever-increasing ticket price. Walking up the stairs toward home, the distant black tower glowed in the sunset, mocking him. Se-Jun gripped the green onions in his hand, a tide of helplessness washing over him. No! I can't just give up. At the end of despair lay anger. He clenched his fist and roared at the sunset, forcibly reigniting his dwindling fighting spirit. Looking at the cheap vegetables in his hand, an absurd idea struck him. If prices outside are soaring, wouldn't farming in the tower be a goldmine? Even his idol, Sarah, might be impressed. The fantasy spiraled out of control. He envisioned himself filthy rich, proposing to the national idol on one knee, a goofy, love-struck grin spreading across his face. Just then, the air trembled. A blue lightning vortex tore through the street out of nowhere. The legendary disappearance phenomenon was happening right before his eyes. The immense suction knocked him off balance, warping everything around him. Fear struck instantly, but he quickly realized this was his only chance to enter the tower without a ticket. Fear turned into ecstasy. Sejuan spread his arms wide, screaming wildly at the deadly vortex, "Black hole! Take me! Park Sejuan is betting his life on you." But the damn portal started shrinking. The smile froze on Sejuan's face as he reached out in panic, terrified that this life-changing chance would slip through his fingers. "Don't you dare close!" He sprinted like a madman, and in the final second before the vortex vanished, he lunged into the unknown abyss with death-defying resolve. The world flipped upside down, and darkness swallowed everything. With a heavy thud, he slammed face first onto the hard ground, gritting his teeth in pain. When he opened his eyes, he saw magnificent marble and chandeliers. I made it? Pain was drowned out by ecstasy. He thought he had finally stepped onto the first floor of his dreams. Before he can react, weightlessness hits. Sejuan's eyes widen in shock as he plummets with the light, landing heavily at the bottom of a silent cave, completely bewildered. Ignoring the pain, he scrambles up, cold sweat soaking his back. What the hell is this place? Panic surges like a tidal wave as he clutches his head, trembling in the face of the unknown. Still plummeting uncontrollably, he sees an eerie blue glow below. Where am I? His desperate scream echoes through the massive abyss, met only by silence. Meanwhile, beneath a clear sunny sky, the pitch-black tower stands ominously. Deep inside, a mysterious red device senses a disturbance and suddenly erupts with an eerie purple glow. In the darkness, a pair of purple dragon eyes snap open. As the tower manager, the black dragon stares at the fluctuations in the crystal ball, a low growl vibrating through the air. I must find the cause. A spotlight beams down on Sejuan, who stands helpless in the void. Clutching his head, jaw dropped in shock, fate seems to have played a cruel joke on him. Outside, the world buzzes with rumors about the Black Tower. Some imagine a bright paradise, others show off purchased potions, oblivious to the cruel reality inside. Get strong before fighting monsters. The survival guide echoes in Sejuan's mind, but all he sees is a deathly silent cave and eerie blue water. The exit seems impossibly far away. Time drags on. Sejuan sits slumped on a rock, covered in grime. A full day of searching has yielded nothing, and a deep sense of powerlessness threatens to swallow him. No, nothing at all. No shop, no training ground, not even a soul. Darkness surrounds his curled-up figure like a beast. His cries for help fade into the void as a desperate realization strikes. He is completely lost. Suddenly, a phone alarm breaks the silence. No signal, but the growl of his stomach pulls him back to reality. Hunger is scarier than loneliness. Shaking, he reaches for his only backpack. He counts his meager supplies like a miser, a few onions, sweet potatoes, and that precious apple. Reason says to save it, but his body's craving forces his hand to pick up the red fruit. Crunch! The crisp sound echoes as juice explodes in his mouth. The long-lost sweetness brings tears to his eyes, but one bite only makes the hunger surge even stronger. Never has an apple tasted so divine. The crisp texture and sweetness create a feast for his taste buds in this cave of despair, becoming his only comfort. Indeed, hunger is the best spice. As the fleeting satisfaction fades, anxiety returns. Sejuan lies on the cold ground, staring at the remaining food, his heart sinking. With just this, how many days can I actually survive? The image of becoming a dried-up corpse flashes in his mind, turning fear into a raging will to survive. He bolts upright, fists clenched, screaming into the void. No! I absolutely cannot die like this. This is the tower I dreamed of. If he can't leave, he must survive. Like a madman, he drops to his knees, clawing furiously at the hard earth, a frantic fire burning in his eyes. Since he's a farmer class, he'll farm. He carefully buries the onion roots and waters them. He's not just planting vegetables, he's planting hope. As long as crops grow, he can survive. Suddenly, a piercing screech tears through the night. Terrified out of his wits, Sejuan scrambles backward. Monsters? I heard the first floor was safe. Fear instantly twists his face. Trembling, he looks up and witnesses a breathtaking sight, an eerie blue ring forming in the night sky. It's the legendary blue moon, heralding the arrival of an unknown upheaval. Agony courses through him like electricity as Sejuan clutches his ears in the pouring rain, feeling his body tearing apart amidst the red alarms. Plunging into the abyss, he looks up in terror from the suffocating darkness, where a deep-sea behemoth approaches beneath a blinding light. Just as the light erupts, everything cuts to black. Only the shrill alarm remains, the phone screen glowing softly 6:00 a.m. Fingers grazing coarse sand, Sejuan struggles to lift his heavy eyelids, staring blankly at his phone while trying to piece together fragmented memories. Out for 2 days? Shock turns instantly to agony as a tearing pain in his back forces him to curl up in anguish. Collapsing from exhaustion, he leans back against what feels like a giant green stalk. Confused, he looks back, his gaze freezing in realization. Staring at the mutated giant green onion, a realization hits Sejuan. He frantically looks around, his eyes lighting up with sudden hope. 52 of them. He excitedly tries to pull one up, but the crop that grew wild in the dark is incredibly tough, straining his muscles. Finally finishing the harvest, curiosity drives him to take a bite. Instantly, a terrifying heat explodes in his mouth, as if he swallowed fire. Screaming, he dives into the water to cool off. As the burning fades, he's shocked to find his stomach doesn't hurt. This strange taste defies all logic. The tomato in his hand reminds him of a tower legend. Though the sun never sets, occasionally, it eerily hides behind the moon. The blue moon should only appear on high floors. Sejuan snaps his head up, witnessing a massive black dragon silhouette roaring within the eclipsing shadow. This is no illusion. Memories flood back to 10 years ago. The Phoenix Guild's secret raid seems inextricably linked to this unbelievable sight. The so-called strategy guides flash through his mind, from skeletons to orcs. The structured monster distribution map now feels pitifully useless. Rain falls inside the cave, yet Sejuan looks towards the entrance to see bright sunshine. This illogical weather sends a chill down his spine. Trembling, he crawls out of the cave, ready to face a monster, only to find a giant white rabbit basking on the rock. The giant rabbit drools with a vacant expression. Before Sejuan can react, it suddenly leaps, casting a massive shadow over him instantly. I'm dead! He falls back in terror, but instead of a crushing blow, he feels a soft weight on his head. A small rabbit sits there innocently. Looking at the gluttonous little creature, Sejuan tentatively cuts a piece of spring onion leaf. The rabbit's eyes light up instantly as it happily accepts the treat. Man and rabbit sit side by side on the rock, munching away as the tension evaporates. Looking at the overgrown crops, Sejuan's curiosity about this mysterious tower only deepens. Sejuan calculates his grueling harvest schedule when the rabbit suddenly goes berserk, gesturing wildly at the cave entrance. Before he can react, a dull boom shatters the peace. Danger is imminent. Following the noise into the dim cave, they spot a figure. With its back turned, the massive white creature is busy, and the eerie sound of splashing and tapping echo in the enclosed space, sending Sejuan's heart racing. It's another rabbit. Watching them nuzzle affectionately with pink hearts practically overflowing, Sejuan freezes. Turns out this desolate 99th floor is actually a love nest for this bunny couple? An intrusive scanlator recruitment page. A smug white cat asks for support. The story takes a brief, lighthearted commercial break, letting us catch our breath. Suddenly, the scene shifts. The rabbit couple turns out to be master farmers, expertly clipping onions and watering. Joyful work songs echo through the cave, instantly transforming the desolate underground farm into a place of vibrant life. Before Sejun can recover from the shock, the rabbits launch their ultimate attack. With teary, sparkling eyes begging please let us stay, they stare at him. Sejun clutches his chest. Who can withstand such a lethal dose of cuteness? Sejun tries to act the strict landlord, but his negotiation is drowned out by an enthusiastic hug. The soft touch instantly breaks his defenses. Claiming he's being used, his body honestly accepts these fluffy free laborers. But soon, Sejun gets salty. Watching the rabbit wield a bottomless watering can and a magical apron like Doraemon's pocket, he tears up with envy as the tower's master. His gear is worse than two rabbits. However, seeing the cherry tomatoes grow wildly under rabbit care, Sejun instantly changes his tune. He gives a thumbs up, and a brilliant "you're hired" sends the rabbits cheering. The interspecies farming alliance is officially formed. Before the celebration ends, the two rabbits suddenly bolt like arrows, kicking up a cloud of dust. Sejun is left bewildered in the wind. What on earth are they doing now? They brandish shovels and claws, frantically digging into the rock wall, sending dirt flying and dust billowing. With such shocking speed and focus, they are like two tireless miniature bulldozers. The camera zooms in to reveal delicate craftsmanship following the frantic digging. The little rabbit closes its eyes, blissfully weaving a flower wreath and carefully hanging it on the new burrow's entrance, full of ritualistic pride. They were building a home. Despite a clumsy tumble, the two rabbits tightly embrace in excitement looking at their wreath-decorated new dwelling. Watching this heartwarming scene, Sejun is infected by their simple joy. There's even playful flirting. Watching them show off their love under the wreath with pink bubbles filling the air, Sejun smiles, but he's feeling a bit stuffed from all this. Rabbit food? No public display of affection. The excitement belongs to them. Sejun has nothing. He walks outside alone, looking at the sprouting seedlings and scattered water bottles, as a trace of loneliness creeps in. Thankfully, in this tower of despair, he has them. Adjusting his mindset, Sejun lies comfortably on the hay, sunlight filtering onto his face. With helpers now, the future looks promising. As drowsiness hits, he drifts off with a satisfied smile. Aha! The sweet dream instantly turns into a nightmare. Sejun catapults up screaming, his back burning in pain. Looking back, he sees the transparent water bottle focus the sunlight and ignited the hay. This burn wakes him up instantly. In this perilous black tower, letting one's guard down even while sleeping is dangerous. Sejun's eyes sharpen. This accidental fire seems to have sparked an idea, a revelation about survival. He acts immediately. If the bottle can start a fire, he can cook. Sejun excitedly mimics the angle, using the bottle to focus sunlight on the dry onions, as if he can already smell the cooked food. But reality slaps him hard. No matter how hard he tries, the damn flame won't spark. The frustration of shattered hope explodes. Sejun roars and violently throws the onions to the ground. This trash survival trick doesn't work at all. Just smoke, no fire. Sejun sweats with frustration, wondering if he missed a step. Suddenly, two rabbits poke their heads out, interrupting his panic. Seeing his saviors, Sejun desperately begs the rabbits for help. As they puff their cheeks and blow, the spark erupts into a roaring fire, bringing tears to Sejun's eyes. The heavy rain cannot extinguish their hope. The fire burns even stronger. Sejun cheers, and in the warm glow, the surrounding plants seem to respond, miraculously sprouting fresh shoots. With fire comes food. Sejun and the rabbits roast plant stems over the bonfire. Despite burning his fingers, the sight of the sizzling food makes his mouth water uncontrollably. One bite, and an explosion of sweetness hits him. Sejun feels like a wild horse running through fields. The deliciousness makes both his and the rabbit's eyes sparkle with bliss. It is a rare feast, enjoyed with gusto. In the warmth of the night, Sejun writes in his diary, "Finally, a hot meal before bed, filling the cave with pure happiness." A new day begins on the 99th floor as Sejun stretches his limbs. He washes away the sleepiness by the quiet pool, the cold water sharpening his senses for the work ahead. Farm life is orderly, trimming onions, watering tomatoes. Surveying his thriving field, Sejun even crafts torches from dried onion leaves, illuminating their once dim home. Torchlight extends their exploration to the water, but the brightness disturbs a predator. The calm surface explodes as a gaping maw lunges violently at Sejun. Survival instinct kicking in, Sejun swings his torch, knocking the monster back. As it lands, he realizes with a trembling heart that it is actually a giant blue monster fish. Crisis instantly turns into cuisine as the fish sizzles over the fire. Watching the meat turn golden, Sejun's fear is replaced by the mouth-watering aroma. Sejun devours the fish, savoring the taste of meat. But seeing the rabbit's horrified stares, he awkwardly realizes his vegetarian friends might be traumatized by his meal. Misunderstandings aside, life goes on. Using his dying electronics, Sejun calculates the days, deducing with a heavy heart that the terrifying blue moon descends every 30 days. As his phone dies forever, Sejun carves days into the rock wall. To survive, he adapts to nature, syncing his schedule perfectly with the rabbits. One morning, a burst of energy pours from the cave. Watching the newborn bunnies skip and play, Sejun's eyes soften, his heart melting at the sight. The little ones aren't shy, scrambling all over him. Now Uncle Sejun, surrounded by these fluffy lives, he feels a precious sense of family in the underground. Late at night, Sejun insists the exhausted rabbit parents get some rest. He stays by the fire, watching over the sleeping little ones, quietly taking on the night shift. Even while babysitting, farm work calls. Sejun shows the bunnies the tomato flowers, acting as a human bee to pollinate each one until his back aches. A bunny's sneeze brings a surprise fruit has appeared. Just a day before the blue moon, this sign of harvest has Sejun dancing with joy, celebrating the tiny green tomatoes. The moment of truth arrives. Dampening the ground and sealing the cave, Sejun dons a grass cloak. Facing the terrifying blue moon, he gives a brave thumbs up, vowing to survive. Darkness swallows the forest as eerie crashes echo outside. Sejun cowers in the corner, every second of waiting feeling like an eternity of torment. He glances back in terror, witnessing a colossal red monster rampaging through the trees, turning the forest into ruins. Despair descends. The monster's massive silhouette looms over the cave entrance, making Sejun feel like a trapped rat with nowhere to run. Even in the face of death, survival instinct drives him to desperately shove the precious tomatoes into a crevice, his only hope for the future. In that instant, death locks its gaze upon him. The immense pressure is suffocating, his heart pounding as if it might burst from his chest. Facing the gaping maw, his sanity snaps, and he lets out a final, blood-curdling scream of despair. The scene shifts to morning light. Sejun is deep in slumber, completely oblivious to the rabbit's gentle attempts to wake him. Gentleness fails, so brute force prevails. A rabbit body slams him, and Sejun instantly bolts upright in pain and shock. The nightmarish, blue moon, is finally over. Gazing at the blue sky, Sejun clutches his throbbing head, unable to believe he actually survived. Memories flood back like a tidal wave. The terrifying face of the red-eyed monster surfaces in his mind, drenching him in cold sweat. In that moment, the wind pressure from the descending claw felt like it was slicing his skin. Death had been mere millimeters away. The terror of survival leaves him trembling uncontrollably, but the warm rabbits cluster around, dispelling the bone-chilling cold. Only food can soothe a wounded soul. He devours the grilled fish, though his mind still races with worry that the monster might return. I must survive. Turning fear into appetite, he desperately swallows every bit of energy, startling even the rabbit beside him with his intensity. Just then, a miracle occurs. The tomato vine has borne a massive blue fruit, shimmering with starlight. Captivated by its alluring hue, Sejuan carefully picks the mutated fruit, his heart filled with curiosity and questions. A crisp system chime rings out. The heavy tomato in his hand turns out to contain mysterious blue moon energy. Yet, joy is instantly washed away by cold text. The administrator calls his existence a mistake and makes no secret of the intention to erase him. "You've got to be kidding me." Being treated like trash enrages Sejuan. He roars into the void, determined to demand justice. Perhaps awed by his intensity, the system bursts with light. Amidst anticipation, his hidden class finally awakens only to be an F-rank farmer. Sunlight bathes the peaceful fields as Sejuan enjoys a moment of tranquility. Suddenly, a cascade of blue pop-up shatters the calm job, farmer, friend of nature. "Wait! Farmer?" Disbelieving, Sejuan checks his status window, only to face a grim reality. All stats are 1, talent ordinary person. In this deadly tower, it feels like a death sentence. Despair washes over him, cold sweat soaking his back. To escape the cruel truth, his mind drifts to a distant fantasy where he is a celebrated hero, basking in applause. In that dream, spotlight on him, he smiles elegantly at the host's question, wearing a fancy suit, and proudly declares the very title that crushed him. "I am a farmer." The fantasy shatters. Sejuan clutches his head, screaming in rage. He brandishes the purple fruit, roaring at the sky. "Why a farmer? Why me?" He raises the purple sphere to vent his anger, only to meet the bewildered gazes of the rabbit family. Freezing under their innocent eyes, his rage melts into awkward stammering. As emotions settle, survival continues. Night falls, and a bonfire crackles at the cave entrance, pushing back the darkness, but seemingly disturbing something lurking in the shadows. By the firelight, Sejuan examines the purple tomato he labored over, resentment replaced by pride. Watching the rabbits around him, he smiles. "Maybe I can survive by farming after all?" Just as confidence returns, the tomato in his hand erupts with strange light. A mysterious force envelopes the field, and Sejuan's eyes widen in shock at this sudden anomaly. A system panel pops up. This is no ordinary tomato, but a magical item infused with blue moon energy. Reading the incredible stats, Sejuan's heart races to the limit. Before he can celebrate with the animals, a cold gaze pierces the darkness. The system chime rings like a death knell. Hand over the fruit to the administrator, or face execution. Death? The blood-red text stings his eyes. Sejuan clutches the tomato, trembling uncontrollably. This absurd extortion suffocates him, and his companions cower under the crushing pressure. Fear turns to fury. He screams at the void. "This is blatant blackmail. Couldn't you just ask nicely? Do you have to threaten my life?" Only cold silence answers him. Survival comes first. Trembling, Sejuan places the precious magic tomato into the transfer window, begging for his life. As the quest complete chime rings, he collapses in relief. Danger averted, Sejuan's face instantly lights up at the claim reward button. Rubbing his hands, his previous defiance vanishes. I knew the administrator was generous." A tap of the finger, the light fades, revealing a new skill. Sewing LV.1. Basic as it is, it's the first lifeline he's grasped in this tower. The skill wakes him up. He's a farmer, and he needs to work. In the pouring rain, he swings a burning bamboo pole, striking precisely at the shadow leaping from the water. With a sharp thud, the ferocious piranha hits the ground. Seeing the experience points roll in, Sejuan wipes the rain from his face, eyes gleaming with a hunter's excitement. Having quickly reached level 2, he looks at his catch. Though he dislikes needless killing, survival instinct overrides hesitation. "Rabbits! Dinner time!" At his call, the rabbit family swarms out of the cave. Watching the little ones feast, Sejuan smiles warmly. In this cold dungeon, this moment of warmth means everything. Sejuan smiles warmly as he hands the precious toast to the straw-hatted rabbit, who squeals with delight. Turns out, these aren't just cute gluttons, but a hidden species known to no one else, the white rabbit farmers. Watching them bond intimately on the grass, Sejun rests his chin on his hand, a pang of bitterness rising in his heart. Perhaps they too are wanderers who lost their home? Regrettably, the language barrier turns his sympathy into a helpless sigh. Sentimentality vanishes as Sejun stands by the fire. Rallying the troops, today is the big day. The rabbits respond instantly, pumping their little fists and roaring with determination. In this moment, they are comrades in arms. Finally, red tomatoes glisten amidst the green leaves, and Sejun drops to his knees, his eyes wide with disbelief and joy. The sweat and tears of countless days have crystallized into this heavy harvest. It is time. The atmosphere suddenly tightens as the rabbits hold their breath, watching nervously. Sweat beads on Sejun's forehead as his trembling hand reaches for the plump fruit, as if defusing a bomb with a crisp snap. The deed is done. Success? Sejun hoists the perfect cherry tomato high, cheers echoing through the cave. The system notification follows immediately. It really is a rare item that increases magic power. Yet amidst the excitement, he realizes the stats look familiar. Eyeing the stats that burn fat to boost magic, a glint appears in Sejun's eyes. Continuous consumption could maintain the buff. If this one is a magic tomato, doesn't that mean the rest of the field is? He turns eagerly to look at the remaining crops. Reaching out with greed, he's met only with a cold system notification: unripe. Sejun stares vexedly at the green fruit in his hand. It turns out not every one becomes a magic item. A splash of cold water on his heated excitement. A sudden realization hits him. Unripe ones are just food. Only the fully ripe ones count as magic items. This is far stricter than he imagined. Looking at the uneven crop, Sejun takes a deep breath. This is the real challenge. Harvest complete, level up. Sejun gets carried away and tries to eat alone, only to be immediately drowned in angry glares. He laughs awkwardly, apologizing profusely, and quickly shares the tomatoes with his hard-working partners. Let the feast begin. The celebration begins. Everyone eagerly pops the red fruits into their mouths. As the juice bursts on his tongue, Sejun closes his eyes in enjoyment, but a second later, his eyes snap open, pupils glowing with a strange light. There is no magical explosion, only an ultimate serenity. Through some synesthetic sensation, he seems to see a shooting star cut through the night, followed by brilliant fireworks erupting deep within his mind. This taste. Sejun is dumbfounded, as if standing beneath the night sky of a summer festival. The sweet and sour flavor is like a wild summer breeze, whipping up a sky full of brilliant fireworks, transporting his soul into an illusion called happiness. Two clear tears slide down the corners of his eyes. It is the long-lost taste of summer. Trembling, he picks up another fruit, immersed in emotion. The rabbits are also conquered by the deliciousness, though startled by Sejun's exaggerated reaction. The exquisite taste quickly conquers all the rabbits, filling the cave with rising cheers. Everyone holds their tomatoes and feasts. Simple joy flows through the air, a feast belonging to the laborers. Watching the energetic kids still frolicking, Sejun collapses exhaustedly into the shelter. Though too tired to move a finger, watching this lively scene brings an unconscious smile to his lips. Just as he settles in for a good sleep, his dreams are shattered by the relentless system notification. The damn dragon administrator has sent a mandatory quest: hand over 100 magic tomatoes, or face death. The sweet dream instantly turns into a thriller. To save his life, Sejun frantically sacrifices all the freshly harvested tomatoes. Seeing the mission complete notification, he feels like he's playing a deadly game of roulette as he tremblingly clicks open the reward. Please, give me a powerful skill to survive. Harvesting power? Sejun looks up and sighs, his expression twisted in pain. He thought he'd get a god-tier combat skill, but it's just a passive farming buff? He screams internally, feeling thoroughly pranked by the system. However, as he reads the skill description carefully, his initial disappointment freezes. The rabbit behind him seems to have seen through it all, casting a gaze of approval. Sejun suddenly realizes that in this cruel tower, perhaps this rather than combat is the true secret to survival. Just as Sejun boasts to the rabbits about his new ripening skill, the system brutally interrupts with a death threat: deliver 200 tomatoes or die. The nightmare escalates as the demand skyrockets from 250 to 500 with zero reward. Frozen in place, Sejun faces this insatiable extortion, an overwhelming sense of despair washing over him. With nothing left to lose, Sejun's eyes turn cold as he flatly refuses the unreasonable demand, his first act of defiance against the high and mighty administrator. Sejun laughs in pure rage at the system's mockery. Holding a green tomato that reflects days of exhaustion, he realizes the administrator takes his desperate toil for granted. "Don't make a fuss." Seeing this dismissive comment, veins bulge on Sejun's forehead, his sweat and scars silently screaming against this so-called easy work. The system chimes frantically with the administrator's displeasure, but Sejun ignores it, shouldering a bundle of green onions and striding through the field with a satisfying smirk. The cozy dinner is shattered by cold, murderous intent, as the warning, "Administrator will kill you," flashes repeatedly. A chill runs down Sejun's spine, his forced calm crumbling before the countdown to death. In the darkness, Sejun argues with the void, his voice trembling with grievance. He refuses to bow to a tyrant who exploits him without understanding the hardships of farming. Just as he curses the administrator as a corrupt boss, a rift tears open in the void, and a colossal black monster descends with suffocating pressure. It turns out to be a farce over a few tomatoes. Faced with the administrator's childish threat of violence, Sejun exasperatedly hands over 5, then turns to share the rest with the gluttonous rabbits. As the storm settles, reading the system's awkward message of forgiveness, Sejun walks into the dark tunnel, a playful smile surfacing as he sees right through the Tsundere Dragon's clumsy attempt at an apology. Day 91. Bathed in the dim light filtering from above, Sejun gazes at the strange eclipse. His resentment fades, replaced by a thought that the ill-tempered administrator might not be so bad after all. On a torrential rainy night, the mysterious fourth blue moon silently arrives. Sejun sits cross-legged deep in the damp cave, quietly awaiting an unknown transformation. He tries to eat a tomato to calm his anxiety about the unknown, but suddenly, the food in his hand and the plants nearby erupt with an eerie, brilliant blue glow under the moonlight. Baptized by the light, the tomatoes mutate. Staring at the crystalline blue fruit, the fear in Sejun's eyes is instantly replaced by feverish anticipation as he itches to harvest it. Not just the tomatoes, even the sweet potato leaves are turning a strange blue. Sejun's heart pounds as he leaps from the rock, stumbling and rushing toward the evolving field. Jackpot! This sweet potato infused with blue moon energy grants massive experience and skyrockets his skills. Sejun clenches his fist, letting out a cry of pure ecstasy in the gloomy depths. Blue moon tomato in one hand, blue moon sweet potato in the other, Sejun feels like he owns the world. But just as he revels in the moment, a crisp ding pulls him back to reality. Just as expected, the greedy dragon immediately demands these rare treasures under threat of death. Sejun sighs helplessly, but with the air of someone used to this routine, he compliantly loads them into the basket. With a sly grin, Sejun hands over the ordinary tomatoes first to complete the old quest. Watching the administrator's reaction flip from happy to furious, he gloats internally. You want the good stuff? You'll have to learn to wait your turn. Facing the administrator's strict warning to share next time, Sejun smirks mischievously. He dismisses it with a wave and tosses the glowing purple tomato straight into his own mouth. Rules can wait. Flavor comes first. The moment he bites down, flavor explodes like fireworks in his mind. As he revels in the heavenly taste, a system chime announces a permanent magic boost. This isn't just food, it's a feast of power. Having tasted the power, Sejun can't wait another second. He grabs a handful of dried onion leaves and tosses them into the fire. The flames roar to life, matching his burning impatience. As the onion-wrapped sweet potatoes sizzle, the aroma drifts deep into the cave. The startled rabbits peek out, only to be met by Sejun's friendly grin. "Hey little guys, dinner time!" Tada! Sejun holds up the steaming sweet potato like a treasure. The white rabbit's eyes widen, drool practically forming a river, as it instinctively lunges forward in pure desire. Seeing the rabbits look at him like a god, Sejun blushes, a wave of guilt washing over him. He gently pets them, conveniently omitting the fact that he secretly devoured most of the harvest last night. Even a god can't handle the heat. Sejun takes a bite and instantly regrets it, his face twisting as he screams in pain. The watching rabbits recoil in sympathy, clutching their own mouths in horror. But not all food is friendly. Just recently, a curious rabbit tried to touch the strange purple objects in the cave, only to be smacked hard when the object lashed out like a living weapon. The innocent baby rabbits, oblivious to the danger, stuffed the purple tubers into their mouths. The father rabbit watches in horror, his eyes filled with dread, realizing it's too late to stop the impending disaster. The consequences strike fast. The baby rabbits turn pale and vomit uncontrollably. Sejun looks at the chaotic mess and sighs. This is the price of gluttony. Dungeon food bites back. Having learned his lesson, Sejun lays down the law. Arms crossed and expression stern, he issues an ultimatum to the leaf-munching rabbits. From today on, eating sweet potato leaves is strictly forbidden. Seeing their pitiful expressions, Sejun changes tactics. He raises a finger and dangles the bait. But if you help me work, I'll give you sweet roasted potatoes instead of bitter leaves. Deal? Deal. The lure of food is irresistible. The rabbits cheer and grab their tools. Sejun claps in satisfaction, quickly stopping one overeager helper. Hey, leave that onion. We need it for seeds. The farm bursts into activity. While Sejun ponders the layout, the rabbits move like machines digging, filling, and stomping with a fluidity that puts him, the actual farmer, to shame. Despite the occasional slapstick moment of a rabbit getting whacked for stealing a leaf, their teamwork pays off. Sejun cradles the heavy, ripe tomatoes, a proud, fatherly smile lighting up his face. As the harvest concludes, the system flashes gold. Congratulations, E-rank farmer. But as Sejun prepares to roast tomatoes in celebration, a chill runs down his spine from the void. A jealous, greedy gaze is locked onto his food. You're watching, aren't you? Sejun senses the gaze. Feigning calm, he deliberately holds up the special tomato skewers, shouting loudly. Here it is! Premium barbecue on piranha bone skewers, smelling divine, come and get it! Since he can't fight it, he might as well enjoy the moment. Sejun distributes the skewers to the cheering rabbits and turns to dig up sweet potatoes. As the soil loosens, he smirks. This meal fed the bellies and seemingly appeased the grumpy observer. Heat-ho! A cluster of massive sweet potatoes bursts from the earth. Not only is the yield huge, but the system says they boost strength. Sejun counts his loot, his only regret being a single withered sprout in the corner. Sejun carefully replants the sprout, only to realize he gets no XP because the rabbits helped. He spins around, screaming at the helpful bunnies. Stop! Let me do it! All these experience points are mine! In the dark lair, the administrator eagerly snatches up a string of red tributes. Expecting sweet fruit, he swallows them whole, only to regret it instantly. Fire erupts in his throat. As the dragon roars in spicy agony, he spies the culprit through his crystal ball. The human is sitting there, looking infuriatingly peaceful. Revenge is swift. Just as Sejun enjoys the peace, a deadly blue quest window pops up. Offer a roasted sweet potato, or else death. It's his last ration, so Sejun tries to bargain. Surprisingly, the system caves, offering a job skill as a reward. He hands over the potato without a second thought. The reward is a seed store. Sejun excitedly taps open. The transaction history is empty, but this shop is his beacon of hope for survival in the tower. Just as he despairs over being broke, a crisp chime rings out. Newbie bonus, 1 dungeon coin. It's a fortune given freely. But in this expensive store, 1 coin doesn't go far. Cabbage? Peppers? Sejun rubs his chin, locked in a difficult calculation. Carrots it is. The moment the words leave his lips, the rabbits go feral. Their eyes shine as if they've heard a divine prophecy. Before Sejun can react, the fanatical rabbit army charges. Driven by pure, violent craving for carrots, they tackle him to the ground. Transaction complete. A fancy red pouch materializes. Fingering the luxurious fabric, Sejun chuckles. The packaging looks more expensive than the seeds. The administrator is appeased, so it's time to work. Sejun plants hope into the soil, recording another victory in his diary. Meanwhile, a mysterious visitor silently arrives. Days pass. The soil remains bare, yet the rabbits stand vigil like statues, staring at the dirt with almost religious anticipation. Afternoon nap time. Sejun drifts off clutching his doll. Suddenly, a faint buzzing sounds in his ear, and something fuzzy brushes against his cheek. A bug? Sejun jolts up, heart pounding. He focuses, finding a small creature with purple eyes hovering right before him. The little thing seems just as terrified, freezing in midair, its large eyes filled with fear and vulnerability. Sejun starts to coo at it, but the system ID freezes his blood-poisoned honey bee. He turns to warn his friends, only to find the rabbits have already vanished. You traitors! The system warns it's a carnivorous predator. Sejun scrambles back, begging, "Don't eat me. I'm just skin and bones." As the bee closes in, Sejun swings a wildflower in blind defense. But the attack never comes. The killer leans in, sniffing the flower blissfully. Seeing its blissful expression, realization hits Sejun. Wait, you're a bee? Is this pollination? The predator crisis evaporates instantly. Misunderstanding cleared, the bee becomes the farm's newest worker. Only then do the cowardly rabbits peek out from the rocks, meeting Sejun's scornful glare. Though he yells go away, he lets the bunnies nuzzle his legs. The queen bee hovers inches from his face, flustering him with her intense proximity. Gentle silence falls as he cradles the sleeping, deadly queen. Day 120. This dangerous cave is slowly beginning to feel like a warm home. He starts to scold the bunnies playing in the tomato field, but softens immediately. Watching them frolic, he smiles. Kids should be allowed to be kids. Golden honey arrives. Sejun calls out lunchtime, and as the hard-working bee returns, the ordinary meal feels like a triumphant harvest celebration. Honey-glazed grilled onions crunch perfectly. Sejun clenches his fists in pure culinary ecstasy, even receiving a bon appetit message from the aloof administrator. Peace is fleeting. Watching the storm outside, Sejun clutches the harvested tomatoes, his anxiety rising with the approaching, ominous blue moon. The rabbits act strangely, twitching with unease. Sejun's stomach drops. Sensing the oppressive atmosphere, he instinctively commands, "Get inside, now!" Suddenly, transformation. The rabbits huddle, their eyes flashing sharp and wild, before bolting into the cave depths, leaving Sejun frozen in shock. Bam! The door slams shut. Sejun pounds on the wood, screaming their names in desperation. Did they just lock themselves in and abandon their children? Eerie blue light floods the cavern. The legendary blue moon has arrived. Sejun looks up, sweating profusely, crushed by an overwhelming, suffocating pressure. Monsters? 3 giant, glowing beasts materialize, bearing fangs. Sejun stumbles back in terror, his mind racing. What the hell is happening? Claws swipe, roars deafen. Sejun's pupils dilate in visceral terror. Death feels imminent as he cowers helplessly beneath the looming shadows of the beasts. Trapped? Surrounded by the 3 ferocious beasts, Sejun curls up on the ground. In this abyss of despair, even breathing feels like a luxury. In the direst moment, a miracle. Purple light bursts from Sejun's hands, forming glowing rabbit silhouettes. Is this a summons, or the prelude to evolution? Light dances joyfully in the void, shattering the terror. The silhouettes solidify in the cosmos, transforming into energetic, adorable forms. The light fades, and 3 unique rabbits land. Sejun stares, jaw dropped, his clenched fist freezing in midair. Are you? Realization strikes. Seeing his grown-up companions, Sejun collapses in relief. It wasn't a disaster. It was their sacred coming-of-age ritual. Don't run, darling. The giant rabbits turn aggressively affectionate, pouncing for kisses. Sejun struggles against their suffocating love. This is scarier than monsters. Morning sunlight breaks. The cave door creaks open. Seeing his companions return unharmed, Sejun waves by the fire, his warm smile chasing away the night shadows. Before he can get emotional, a rabbit proudly presents a glowing shovel. Is this the result of evolution? Looks like the farm is getting a major upgrade. Sejun's jaw drops in sheer disbelief. The rabbits haven't just evolved, they've summoned farming tools, transforming into a professional agricultural squad right before his eyes. As the white rabbits busy themselves with their new gear, Sejun strokes his chin in thought. Suddenly, an expectant gaze interrupts him. The empty-handed black rabbit is staring daggers of curiosity. The black rabbit puffs out its chest and hoists its prize, a massive wooden hammer. Sejun is baffled. That weapon looks ready for war, definitely not for tilling the soil. A system window pops up, revealing the truth. This little guy isn't a farmer at all, he's a born warrior. He shoulders his hammer, radiating a fighting spirit. The farm bursts into activity. The white rabbits work like a well-oiled machine, watering, harvesting, and hauling. Watching them, a warm sense of satisfaction fills Sejun's heart. But the mood shifts. Sejun glances from the diligent farmers to the black rabbit warrior, who is lounging on its back without a care. A vein pops on Sejun's forehead. Sejun sighs, lecturing, "There are no monsters here, so your hammer is useless." Just as the rabbit wilts, its red eyes suddenly flash with a brilliant, chaotic idea. Fishing? Sejun's eyes light up. Brilliant. If he's a warrior, he can hunt the fish in the pond. Man and rabbit instantly agree on this violent new fishing method. The torch slices through the dark, and a massive, fanged fish leaps out, clamping onto the flame. In that split second of chaos, Sejun roars, "Now!" Boom! A dark blur strikes as the massive hammer descends with crushing force. The very air shudders under the impact, a perfect display of violent beauty. As the dust settles, revealing a stripped skeleton, cold sweat trickles down Sejun's face. That wasn't fishing. That was a one-sided massacre. Surrounded by the rabbits, Sejun laughs nervously, trying to lighten the mood. But the atmosphere at this post-massacre dinner remains undeniably awkward. Days turn into weeks of hard labor, until on day 125, that familiar, melodious chime rings out. The seed store has finally updated. Sejun opens the interface with high hopes, but his smile instantly freezes. Watermelon and pumpkin prices are astronomical as inflation hit the dungeon too. Fingering the pathetic 0.9 coins in his pocket, Sejun's heart sinks. Unable to clear towers or hunt monsters, a simple farmer feels utterly trapped in this despairing dungeon. Hunters usually get rich selling parts or doing quests, but for him, that's a pipe dream. The crushing weight of poverty presses down on Sejun's chest. In sheer desperation, he calls out to the haughty administrator. Surprisingly, the usually silent dragon actually responds. But the system's answer nearly gives him a stroke. "It's a grown-up secret. Ask again in 300 years. Sejun explodes. 300 years? Do I need to pass this quest down to my great-grandkids? Rage gives way to helplessness. Sejun takes a deep breath, forcing himself to be pragmatic. Survival comes first, even if it means settling for the cheapest corn. He taps the buy button. As the coins vanish, a bag of corn seeds appears. It's a humble purchase, but it's his only lifeline for the next 30 days. The drawstring loosens with a crisp sound, and golden corn seeds spill into his palm like precious gems. Eyes sparkling with delight, Sejun gazes at the seeds of survival, eager to show off his beautiful harvest to his companions. Night falls, and Sejun pumps his fist, rallying the rabbit family for work, but a loud growl from his stomach betrays him instantly. Yielding to hunger, the mood shifts to a cozy dinner as fish wrapped in bamboo leaves sizzle invitingly over the campfire. Stuffed and satisfied, Sejun leans back by the fire, planning to dry the leftovers. Spotting the queen bee lingering in the cave, he greets her gently, his voice filled with concern and curiosity for his tiny, winged family member. Just as he shares a tender moment with the queen, a frantic drumming shatters the silence. The black rabbit sounds the alarm, causing Sejun to whip around as the cozy atmosphere instantly hardens into tension. Something is coming. A monster? Sejun cries out as the black rabbit charges into the brush. But the lethal rush halts abruptly, confusion replacing aggression. Standing there is not a predator, but a cat surrendering with raised paws. An orange figure bursts forth with a whirlwind of special effects, only to deliver a polite "Hello!" The flashy entrance leaves Sejun bewildered, his guard still up even as curiosity begins to take hold. The cat stands upright, straightens his green scarf, and professionally confirms Sejun's identity. With a confident, "I am Theo, the merchant," a bizarre business atmosphere settles over the wilderness, signaling a potential turning point. This moment marks a milestone in his survival diary. Amidst the dangerous dungeon, Park Sejun has encountered a wandering merchant from the outside world, even if he does have an irresistibly pettable cat face. Hearing the word merchant, Sejun's shock quickly morphs into ecstasy. Legends say stumbling upon a secret merchant in a dungeon brings immense fortune, and he can almost see his destiny changing as his heart races. Trying to focus on business, Sejun is hopelessly distracted by Theo. Those pink paw pads and squishy cheeks are simply cheating. Clutching his pounding heart, he screams internally against the overwhelming cuteness. "It's not fair!" Suppressing his cat lover instincts, Sejun forces composure, crossing his arms and acting aloof. Unfazed, Theo smiles and skillfully initiates business by mentioning Sejun's new seed shop membership, showing his merchant savvy. Cutting to the chase, Theo sits down cross-legged, excitedly proposing a deal. Watching him rummage through that tiny purple pouch with such gravity, Sejun finds himself intrigued by the cat's earnestness. "Oops, I got hungry and ate it all on the way." Theo sticks out his tongue sheepishly. His mix of unprofessionalism and clumsy charm breaks Sejun's facade, sending him into a burst of genuine laughter as the tension evaporates. Seeing the gluttonous cat, Sejun grins and produces a freshly grilled golden fish. The savory aroma instantly shatters Theo's defenses. Stars fill the kitten's eyes as a longing meow slips out. Theo almost cheers in delight, but remembers his professional ethics and painfully waves it away. "No, I can't take from a client." Sejun refuses to relent, mercilessly waving the aromatic fish closer in a psychological warfare of flavor. Instinct ultimately triumphs over reason. Under the extreme temptation of the grilled fish, Theo shuts his eyes, drooling uncontrollably, looking as if he's ascended to heaven. Sejun chuckles softly. "Go ahead, take it." Casting dignity aside, Theo devours 5 fish in one go, lying back on the grass and patting his belly in pure bliss. Saved by the delicious meal, he expresses his heartfelt gratitude to Sejun, unaware of the trap closing in. "Don't mention it." Sejun smiles innocently before extending his hand and revealing the trap. "That'll be 0.5 tower coins. Since it's business, the meal isn't free." Theo's smile freezes instantly, horrified. "There's no such thing as a free lunch," Sejun retorts, using Theo's own business logic against him. Under the gaze of the knowing rabbit family, Theo admits defeat with tears in his eyes, trembling as he reaches for his pouch. Hearing the crisp sound of coins landing in Sejun's hand, Theo's heart breaks. He came to make a profit, only to start with a deficit from lunch. Looking up at the sky, he weeps internally. This business is off to a rocky start. Clutching the glowing blue treasure, Theo's eyes burn with desperate determination. He cannot fail again. He must sell this artifact. He proudly displays his wares. A mysterious bottle, a machine that summons wind, missing the complicated look on Park Sejun's face upon seeing these surface scraps. Theo earnestly spouts nonsense, boasting about the thermos having temperature magic, until the absurdity forces Park Sejun to awkwardly interrupt his sales pitch. Hearing the word trash, Theo bristles and leaps up as if his tail was stepped on. furiously defending these priceless treasures from the outside. Because I'm from the outside too. Park Sejun's calm statement, paired with a scientific explanation of vacuum insulation, instantly shatters Theo's worldview. As if to confirm the cruel truth, the minifan's battery dies, and the blades grind to a halt. Theo desperately smacks it, trying to awaken the non-existent magic. Park Sejun slaps the struggling Theo back to reality. It's cruel, but the truth is undeniable that Goblin Scarum is a complete and utter fraud. The humiliation of being deceived bursts forth as tears. Theo collapses into Park Sejun's arms, sobbing as he recounts his unbearable past. Back in his sunny hometown, Theo had gathered his courage, holding a bouquet of carefully caught small fish, to confess his love to his goddess, Meryl. But instead of an embrace, he received a cold slap. Meryl, disgusted, flings away the cheap minnows, each landing sounding like a blow to Theo's heart. Just then, the rich heir Orin appeared, holding not humble minnows, but a massive salmon tied with a bow, reeking of the sweet scent of money. Meryl swooned instantly. Faced with the temptation of premium salmon, she cupped her face, eyes filled with hearts, completely ignoring the heartbroken Theo beside her. Watching his goddess about to leave with the rich heir for a steak dinner, Theo chased after them unwillingly, desperately grabbing Meryl's arm. "Are our memories worth nothing to you?" Theo asked abjectly, trying to awaken her with past warmth, but it only made the scene more humiliating. The beautiful images of running through flower fields in his mind are ruthlessly shattered by reality. Meryl coldly shakes off his hand, her eyes devoid of any lingering affection. "Stop stalking me." Meryl tears off the mask, viciously mocking Theo as a self-deluded, poor stalker. Amidst the thunder and rain, Theo's heart goes completely dead. In that moment, all innocence dried up with his tears. Amidst the humiliation, Theo swore to wash away the shame of poverty, no matter the cost. For revenge and riches, he left his home, betting his entire fortune just to qualify as a merchant. He would make those who looked down on him regret it. It was then that fate played a cruel joke on him, fresh and inexperienced. He met the grinning goblin Scarum. The cunning scammer exploited Theo's desperate greed, packaging a pile of worthless junk as magic items from the surface, pushing Theo into the abyss of bankruptcy. Flashback to where the scheme began. Scarum pushed the so-called treasure map forward with a hypocritical smile, and naive Theo thought he had found a mentor. But reality is cruel and cold. Outside the tavern, Theo curls up, desperately recalling how he starved himself and spent his life savings on that pile of trash. Watching Theo clutch his head in regret, the pity in Park Sejun's eyes quickly sharpens into opportunity. A desperate wandering merchant. Isn't this exactly what he needs? Park Sejun immediately casts the bait. "I have a way to make money." Theo guardedly protects his pockets, fearing this is just another trap to make him pay. "No, a partnership." Park Sejun kneels, pointing to the sky, while internally rejoicing. Finally found the perfect servant. "No, partner." The sudden invitation makes Theo's eyes go wide, his body stiffening under the green cloak. "You mean, do business with me?" Theo mocks himself as a failure, but Park Sejun rests his chin on his hand with a confident gaze. "Your failure is the best experience. This time, you'll have a real partner." To demonstrate his power, Park Sejun gives a command, and the giant rabbit family enters with thunderous effects, instantly awing the naive cat. The scene instantly shifts to a relaxed farm mode. Lounging on chairs, Park Sejun hits the nail on the head. "We won't scam, but you're broke and can't find new clients, right?" So Park Sejun reveals his plan. It's simple. You sell my goods, I give you a commission. Of course, I set the prices. Hearing a profit share of only 3% to 5%, Theo's feline face instantly falls, cold sweat dripping. Does this human take me for a fool? Of course. Park Sejun, seeing through everything, waves his hand as the giant purple rabbit starts throwing money. "I'll pay you an extra 10 grilled fish weekly." Meanwhile, in a shadowy corner, Scarum, who once scammed Theo, roars at his accomplices, seemingly sensing an unsettling variable. Back at the negotiation table, Theo stares at the grilled fish, drool breaking the dam, reason crumbling before appetite. TW. 20! Give me 20, and I'll consider it. Deal. I'll throw in 5 more. Park Sejun laughs maniacally as his scheme succeeds, piling the grilled fish into a mountain that crushes Theo's last line of defense. Theo holds the fish, eyes shooting beams of golden happiness, as Park Sejun strikes while the iron is hot. And while you're here, it's all you can eat grilled fish. Theo, completely conquered, lets out a greedy laugh, failing to notice Park Sejun has already pulled out a pen and paper. So, do you have any paper? The quill dances across the paper, and a contract bearing the names Park Sejun and Theo officially comes into effect under the pressure of a hand and a paw. The moment he signs, Theo snaps awake, blinded by the fish. He didn't read the terms at all. He screams in terror, trying to grab the contract as it flies away in the wind. But the die is cast. Wrapped in the system's blue light, the contract transforms into an immutable lifetime distributor agreement, hovering in the air and sealing the greedy cat's fate. Sejun smiles as he explains the absolute authority of the dungeon contract, his words ringing like alarm bells. Theo shrinks back, sweating nervously, awkwardly recalling his own hasty first deal. Mentioning the clause about termination if sales fail, Theo swipes his paw in angry protest. Sejun gently strokes his head, soothing the future general manager. Succumbing to the soothing strokes, Theo purrs with pure contentment, melting under Sejun's touch. Sensing the moment, Sejun finally pops the big question: what exactly are we selling? Cherry tomatoes. Sejun delivers the answer with confidence. Theo's eyes go wide in disbelief, staring blankly at the small, crimson fruit in Sejun's hand. Standing in the lush field, Theo suddenly realizes the tomato's stats a treasure that boosts magic power. His eyes instantly ignite with greed as he eagerly asks for the wholesale price. Hearing the dirt cheap price, Theo's jaw drops as he frantically calculates his profits. It translates directly to grilled fish. He holds up a finger and boldly shouts, "I'll take 1,000. To ensure his partner's motivation, Sejun not only prepares the stock but generously adds 25 grilled fish for the road. Looking at the mountain of supplies, he pulls out a special pouch. Theo excitedly tosses the magic storage bag into the air. With a flash of purple light, a massive suction force instantly devours all the tomatoes and fish, finishing the packing in the blink of an eye. The bulging bag lands with a thud. Theo dons his cloak and shoulders the pack, tail held high. Sejun watches, filled with anticipation for this first expedition. Carrying the family's blessings, Theo flies out of the cave in high spirits. Days later, the scene shifts. The unique merchant has arrived at the perilous 38th floor. Meanwhile, danger lurks on the 38th floor. A massive pink demon dives from the sky, roaring as it lunges at Kim Tonsik of the Phoenix Guild. The final showdown is imminent. Blade and claw clash violently, sending sparks flying. Teammates follow up instantly, fireballs screaming through the air and exploding against the demon's body in a burst of flames. Seizing the moment, Kim Tonsik roars and swings his lightsaber, the blade carving a sharp blue arc that strikes the demon's vitals with surgical precision, living up to his title as leader. The beast collapses, ending the battle. Just as Kim Tonsik starts his lecture, Jessica leans in close. Her sudden confession makes him blush instantly, shattering his stern commander persona. Just as everyone relaxes, Kim Tonsik senses a strange presence. He spins around, raising his sword as cold sweat trickles down his face, and shouts into the forest shadows, "Who's there?" However, it's not a terrifying monster that steps out of the bushes, but a small cat in a green cloak. Raising a pink paw, it asks in a soft voice, "Want to see some good stuff, meow?" The tense atmosphere freezes, then shatters with gasps of surprise. Looking at the confident, posing kitten before them, the female hunters' hearts melt instantly. Remembering Sejun's advice, Theo deliberately uses the cutest dialect possible. He stands proudly in the basket of tomatoes, showing off his treasures to these clueless humans. But as they realize the goods are just tomatoes, the hunters' excitement cools. Someone complains in disappointment. What the hell? Selling vegetables in a place like this? I'd rather have meat. Foolish humans. Theo sneers internally, crossing his arms and arrogantly telling them to check the item stats. As Kentonsik activates his scan, the real shock is about to begin. Outside the tower, Theo's first sales pitch hits a wall. Hunters scoff at the pitiful plus 0.1 magic power stat, their eyes filled with disdain, refusing to pay for what looks like overpriced trash. Just as the crowd turns to leave, someone notices the fine print. The bustling market falls dead silent, followed instantly by a scream of disbelief at burning. Skepticism instantly transforms into frantic desire. Upon learning the effect stack, the hunters lose all reason, their eyes burning with feverish greed as they wave cash and swarm the poor cat. Order collapses completely, turning the meadow into a battlefield for tomatoes. Theo panic flails trying to manage the line, while a lucky buyer devours the fruit, reveling in the instant level up. Back on the 99th floor, far from the chaos, Sejuan enjoys the pastoral peace. A confident smile plays on his lips, as if he predicted the mayhem. He's selling far more than just magic. With a crisp crunch, Sejuan pinpoints humanity's weakness from his isolated cave. Nothing drives the wealthy outsiders crazier than side effect-free weight loss. This is his business genius at work. While Sejuan feels triumphant, Theo sits slumped amidst piles of gold, eyes glazed over as if he survived a raid. His soul might have left his body, but the empty basket declares total victory. A new morning brings a return to pragmatism. Sejuan sits cross-legged in the dim underground farm, brow furrowed, beginning a rigorous data review of the sprouting seedlings before him. Reality isn't always perfect. Looking at the germination rates for carrots and tomatoes, expectation mixes with anxiety in Sejuan's eyes. Crop loss, due to environmental limits, is every farmer's burden. But he doesn't lose heart. Sejuan crouches, gazing tenderly at the resilient little lives, his eyes hardening with resolve. Even with poor soil and a low level, he is determined to cultivate hope in this tower of despair. Just as he rallies his spirits for hard work, a disturbance comes from the deep cave pool. Black Rabbit is already waiting, a lit bamboo pole slicing through the darkness, signaling the start of a unique hunt. The moment fire touches water, the surface explodes. Startled fish leap into the air, while Black Rabbit sits unmoved, its very back radiating the calm lethality of a master martial artist. Who needs a hook? Black Rabbit transforms into a martial arts grandmaster. Every strike lands with a dull thud, tracing sharp arcs in the air as it precisely knocks down the leaping fish with breathtaking fluidity. Seeing the ground littered with spoils, Sejuan arrives and gasps in amazement. Though Black Rabbit turns its back, its twitching ears and shy posture betray the pride and joy of being praised. Suddenly, a strange blue light envelopes Black Rabbit. Bathed in this divine glow, it transcends its existence. Sejuan strokes the newly evolved hunter with delight, his touch conveying not just congratulations, but a deep bond. To celebrate his partner's evolution, Sejuan mysteriously reveals a black container he's been saving. In this harsh dungeon, there is no reward more luxurious than a post-work afternoon tea. Sejuan grins like a child as he pops the lid. The scammer who tried to trick Theo never guessed that inside this trash cup lay a treasure trove of instant coffee, priceless in this world. Even without hot water or ice, Sejuan shakes the bottle with pious devotion. Tears prick his eyes, a mix of intense craving for the bitter liquid and boundless gratitude for this unexpected miracle. Infused with the Queen Bee's premium honey, the unique Dungeon Honey Americano is finally complete. Against a starry backdrop, it's not just a drink, it's the elixir that sustains Sejuan's spirit. The first sip sends his soul soaring. Sejuan generously shares this joy with the rabbits, only for Black Rabbit to get instantly hooked, fiercely sucking on the straw. It seems not even monsters can resist the magic of caffeine. Back at the farm, the Black Rabbit greedily snatches the straw, only to foam at the mouth from the bitterness, sending Sejuan into a fit of laughter. Meanwhile, a buzzing sound echoes from the cave depths. A sudden noise in the dark makes Sejuan turn in confusion. A bee spirit with purple eyes flies over, surprisingly able to speak, and greets him cheerfully. With a dramatic "Tada!" the bee spirit reveals she has moved her entire home here. As the rabbits gasp in awe at their new neighbors, Sejun's eyes widen in shock. Since they are family now, a celebration is in order. Suddenly, a quest pops up. Hand over 10 tomatoes or the administrator will be sad. Seeing this pathetic threat, Sejun can't help but chuckle. He generously hands over the tomatoes, receiving immediate gratitude from the administrator. Being thanked by a dragon feels good, but Sejun suddenly pauses, sensing he missed something important. While Sejun is lost in self-satisfaction, far outside the tower, within a magnificent European-style building, the peace is shattered by a sudden, massive explosion. The scene shifts to a dim tavern where the goblin merchant Scarum seethes with rage. His red eyes stare ahead, frantically searching for Theo, the orange cat who made a fool of him. Scarum is convinced Theo lost everything. Rubbing his forehead, a sinister smile curls on his lips as he plots to use fake concern to trap that stupid cat in massive debt again. Greed explodes completely as Scarum laughs maniacally, his face twisted. He can already picture the miserable future where Theo works, like a slave, for the rest of his life to pay off the debt. His minions cheer for the vicious plan. Scarum waves his hand with feigned depth, acting as if victory is already assured and the prey is trapped in his palm with no escape. To celebrate, he opens the wandering merchant sales ranking. Seeing that he finally squeezed into the top 1,000, Scarum beams with pride, savoring his hard-earned achievement. He scans the names beneath him with contempt, but just as he looks for his next target, his gaze freezes, and his pupils constrict to pinpoints in an instant. Unbelievable. Theo, who should be bankrupt, is ranked 982nd, right above him. The massive shock wipes Scarum's mind blank, sending him collapsing to the floor. Scarum roars in despair, unable to accept this cruel reality. Meanwhile, Theo wears an incredibly punchable, smug grin, as if mocking his old friend from afar. Back on the 99th floor, Theo, missing for days, suddenly pounces on Sejun, rubbing against him with apologies. But this unusual enthusiasm only plants a seed of suspicion in Sejun and the rabbits. Under questioning, Theo admits to taking a 4-day vacation. Sejun calculates rapidly, 10 days for travel, so if he only stayed 4 days, does that mean the goods sold out instantly? Sejun grabs Theo with a kind smile that radiates menace. Come on, tell me all the details. Theo's fur stands on end as he trembles in fear. Under Sejun's pressure, Theo finally confesses. He only said a few words, and the hunters bought everything in a frenzy. Sejun is stunned by this incredible sales ability. Seeing the 50 tower coins Theo hands over, Sejun nods with satisfaction and tosses him 2 coins as commission. Theo is dumbfounded. Meow? What happened to being the CO? What kind of CO takes a long vacation? Demoted? Facing Sejun's verdict, Theo not only accepts it but smugly declares he'll use his authentic cat dialect to sell even better next time. Sejun points proudly at the stats window, ambition shining in his eyes, as he explains the farmer's name is displayed. Theo looks blank, not yet grasping the gravity of the situation. Suddenly, Theo's pupils dilate in pure terror. He remembers the novice merchant system hides sources forcibly. If the name leaks, his monopoly business faces total destruction. Staring at the source hidden tag, Theo spirals into panic over potential system penalties. Desperate to save his livelihood, he screams in chaos, accidentally knocking Sejun out cold. Greed instantly overrides fear. Ignoring Sejun's advice, Theo pushes the cart with manic determination, eyes burning with desire. He must earn 1,000 coins immediately to rank up. Meanwhile, beneath the towering city skyscrapers, a young hunter tries to explain himself, but is met with ruthless mockery from his peers, the air thick with urban cynicism. Elsewhere, the tough hunter Kim Tonsik reads a thank you text from his daughter, tears bursting forth instantly. Her love for the tomatoes hits him right in his softest spot. Tonsik sobs like a child, regretting he bought so little. His teammates exchange confused glances, unable to understand why this iron-blooded man is breaking down over mere tomatoes. Upon learning the tomatoes' magical effects, mockery turns into frenzy. Teammates start a bidding war for the leftovers, forcing Tonsik to forcibly cut through the chaos. For his daughter, Tonsik's gaze sharpens as he orders an immediate mobilization to the 38th floor. Despite complaints, a female hunter steps forward in her heels, answering the call decisively. The blonde hunter Jessica makes a flashy entrance with her squad. Though she claims it's for an expedition, her excited expression for tomatoes completely betrays their true purpose. Bathed in the sunset, Tonsik leads the charge like a hero. This isn't just shopping. It's a magnificent crusade for a father to become a hero in his daughter's eyes. Back at the dungeon entrance, Theo drags his feet, complaining. The long road to 1,000 coins feels exhausting, but he has no idea that opportunity is right in front of him. Suddenly, Theo stops, exhaustion vanishing. He recognizes the previous trading spot, and a spark of hope reignites in his eyes. Maybe those big spenders are still there? As he steps out of the brush, a commotion erupts. The waiting hunters spot him instantly, and the air boils with an ecstasy as if they've seen a savior. Theo is stunned by the scene. Learning these people waited 3 whole days just for tomatoes, his orange cat face is written over with utter disbelief. Shock quickly morphs into merchant cunning. Theo narrows his eyes, seeing their desperation, and the gears of greed turn in his head. It's time for a price hike. Facing the impatient hunters, Theo arrogantly announces the price increase. Watching their stunned and helpless expressions, the orange cat feels like the king of commerce. Theo expected haggling, but Tonsik accepts instantly without hesitation. Watching the bag empty in seconds, Theo realizes he actually priced it too low. The scene turns into a frantic auction, with the crowd waving cash to buy. Theo stands amidst the coins, sticking his tongue out smugly, enjoying the thrill of selling out despite the hike. The deal concludes perfectly. Guarding his full money bags, Theo promises to return in 10 days. Tonsik nods in satisfaction. Both man and cat leave with their hauls complete. While the hunters rally with high spirits to clear the dungeon today, Theo plots with a smirk. Seeing these permanent clients, his ambition swells. Soon he'll have enough coins to launch his grand business plan. Before he can react, Theo is hoisted into the air like a mascot. A female hunter greets Mr. Cat with a smile, and though Theo is confused by the title, the hunters seem to see a familiar shadow in him. "I'm Theo, meow," he corrects politely. The hunter studies him, her gaze softening with nostalgia. This orange tabby bears a striking resemblance to a feline friend she knows all too well. Just as Theo is bragging about his looks, a bloody dagger is thrust before him. The air freezes, but the tension instantly shatters. It's not a threat, but a secret weapon she knows no cat can resist. Treats. "I only eat fish," Theo protests, even as he leans in. But the moment the treat touches his tongue, an explosion of flavor melts his resistance, instantly conquering the picky merchant. One is not enough. Seeing his craving, the hunter slyly proposes a trade, a group photo for her entire stock. For the sake of the treats, the shameless Theo instantly sells out his image rights. The shutter clicks, capturing a warm moment across species. As Theo happily devours his spoils, distant observers whisper in amusement, surprised to see such a cute scene within the dungeon's depths. Gazing at the beaming smile on her screen, the hunter's eyes soften. This brief encounter was more than a transaction. It was a moment of comfort that leaves her longing for their next meeting. Meanwhile, back on the 99th floor farm, special training is underway. Black Rabbit splashes desperately clinging to a green onion board, while Sejun shouts instructions from the shore, trying to help him conquer his fear of the water. To reassure his partner, Sejun wades in, promising the piranha tunnel is sealed. Seeing Black Rabbit adjust, he tentatively proposes the next challenge, letting go of the float. No sooner are the words out than Sejun panics. A gruesome vision of Black Rabbit being devoured by piranhas makes him scream in terror, his exaggerated reaction leaving the observing rabbits utterly bewildered. After the false alarm, they rest on the rocks. Exhausted from the exercise, Sejun craves sugar. As he calms his nerves, he rummages through his bag for his precious jar of honey. The jar is empty. Disappointed, Sejun turns his gaze to the hive deep in the cave. The poison bee hasn't appeared in days, so out of concern and a craving for honey he decides to investigate. Stepping into the cave, he gasps at the sight. The once quiet hive is now teeming with life. Countless newborn larvae are buzzing about, revealing that a massive family has grown in his absence. Since he's visiting a neighbor's newborns, he can't go empty-handed. Looking at his thriving crops, Sejun gets an idea and prepares a proper greeting gift. Bouquet in hand, Sejun returns to the hive with the rabbits. He waves to the adult bee peeking from above, wearing his friendliest smile to show he comes in peace. It's a housewarming gift dash before he can finish, the atmosphere snaps. The bees' compound eyes turn blood red, and their bodies crackle with electricity, clearly mistaking his kindness for an invasion. The buzzing deafens as the angry swarm dives. Sejun drops the flowers in panic, screaming explanations into the chaos, but the overprotective guards are deaf to his pleas. Just as Black Rabbit raises his hammer to retaliate, Sejun yells for him to stop. In that split second before total chaos, a commanding shout rings through the cave, freezing the frenzied bees in midair. The attack ceases. Sejun looks up, still shaken. In that moment, a figure with massive golden horns steps forward, its overwhelming presence leaving everyone in stunned silence. Park Sejun recoils in terror, his trembling finger pointing into the darkness as a familiar buzzing morphs into an eerie, humanoid silhouette. Bathed in light, the creature is both alien and divine. Sejun stares in disbelief, searching the majestic queen's face for traces of the little bee he once knew. Meanwhile, the administrator frantically flips through the guidebook. Cold sweat drips from the dragon as the monstrous illustration fails to match reality, fueling a growing anxiety. Slamming the useless manual shut, the dragon stares deeply into the crystal ball. With no immediate danger, the prideful administrator decides to wait and watch the chaos unfold. Back in the cave, man and creature lock eyes. In this strange underground world, a bond transcending species is quietly being reshaped in the dim light. "Is it really you?" Sejun blushes, torn between awkwardness and shock as he faces the human-like queen, while the mole beside him freezes in terror. The queen's gentle gaze seems to pierce through time, unlocking memories of a single flower, a taste of nectar, and the beginning of a twisted fate. Lost in the sweetness of Sejun's magical flower, the greedy little bee was unaware that the nectar was triggering a drastic mutation, drawing the hostility of her kin. Former kin turn into enemies, their red eyes flashing with murderous intent. In the terror of isolation, she realizes she can lay eggs a capital offense against the old throne. Choosing survival, she fled the forest and built a new hive near the human who gave her that nectar. It was her only sanctuary in this cruel world. The pain of metamorphosis burns like fire as she writhes tears and reforms deep within the hive. Outside, unaware friends continue their peaceful watch over the land. Finally, light explodes. The old shell shatters, and the new queen stands proud amidst the starlight, golden hair and transparent wings proclaiming her ultimate evolution. Witnessing her rebirth, Sejun offers a flower in congratulation. The queen accepts the gift, her tsundere expression barely hiding the flutter of her heart. Emotions burst the dam. She lunges into Sejun's arms, a hug that feels like a vow. Sejun freezes, completely blindsided by this sudden, overwhelming passion. Sweet chaos escalates. As the queen clings tight, the little bees swarm Sejun's face. He's no longer a farmer, but a hive support drowning in affection. This heavy love lasts for days. The once spacious cave becomes suffocatingly crowded, leaving Sejun squashed in a corner, desperate for a breath of fresh air amidst the joy. As the blue moon rises, Sejun struggles to shake off the clingy rabbits. Hoping to farm in peace, his gaze is suddenly locked onto a plant glowing with an eerie purple light. Having absorbed the blue moon's mystic energy, the carrot pulses with vitality despite its size. The rabbits gather round, holding their breath in anticipation of a miracle. Taking a deep breath, Sejun heaves. With a crisp snap of earth, a dazzling purple streak is uprooted, the joy of harvest instantly washing away his fatigue. It's alive! Sejun holds the purple carrot aloft, dripping with energy, his eyes filled with pride. In this desolate dungeon, life always finds the most unexpected ways to bloom. With a crisp chime, a purple carrot glowing with eerie light appears. This isn't just food, it's a top-tier treasure infused with blue moon energy that permanently boosts agility. Seeing the massive XP boost, Sejun pauses. Though tempted, he knows how to reward his partners. He crouches and hands the precious carrot to the hard-working white rabbit leader. The rabbits gather around in excitement. Suddenly, the bandana-wearing rabbit's eyes sharpen, and his sickle lashes out. A sharp whistling sound rips through the air. Accompanied by a terrified scream from his peer, the strike is impossibly precise. Purple light explodes as the hard carrot is sliced perfectly in midair, juices flying. The cut is mirror smooth as the pieces float down in a blue glow. The surrounding rabbits switch from shock to ecstasy, cheering wildly for this godlike display of skill. Before the pieces can hit the ground, the gluttonous rabbits move. They become white blurs, racing across the dirt to snatch and devour the delicious treats in midair. Sejun claps for the spectacular performance, though the black rabbit looks a bit competitive. Meanwhile, Sejun spots a new surprise among the vines, a plump purple tomato. To appease the Sundara Dragon administrator, Sejun skillfully offers a tomato. Although the dragon accepts the tribute, it gives a vague answer regarding the skill reward Sejun requested. Just as Sejun is confused by the administrator's empty promise, a piercing cat scream breaks the silence. Theo rushes into the farm in a panic, chased by a swarm of deadly mechanical bees. Seeing the terrified Theo, Sejun realizes the newborn bees haven't met this executive yet. He rushes forward shouting, "Stop! He's not an enemy, he's family." Crisis averted, Sejun grabs the shaken Theo and tickles him with a grin. "If we're family, call me Big Brother." Theo struggles and retorts, "Cut it out, meow. Who's your little brother?" Jokes aside, it's time for business. Theo proudly pulls out a heavy money bag, the total earnings from selling the magical tomatoes. A solid 75 tower coins. Humans were desperate for them, so I raised the price, meow. Theo brags, tail wagging, even eyeing the CEO's spot. Sejun smiles helplessly but pays out his commission. Watching Theo grumble about not getting a promotion, Sejun crosses his arms, suppressing a laugh. The greedy little cat doesn't know the administrator already snitched on his price hike. Sejun marvels at the administrator's intel, but catches Theo licking something out of the corner of his eye. Wait, that red shape? It should be impossible to find inside the tower. Is that a popsicle? Sejun points at Theo's snack in shock. Theo acts like it's totally normal, savoring the treat. It's a cat snack, meow. Turns out, a human fan gave it as a tribute for a photo. Staring at the bag of snacks from Earth, Sejun's mind races. Items from the outside can be brought into the tower. In this cruel world, aside from accidental falls, only hunters can bring in limited supplies. But with strict weight limits, everyone brings survival essentials. Who would waste space on this? Usually it's solar phones, emergency rations, or cigarettes. But someone wasted their precious weight limit on cat treats. Sejun rubs his chin, his brain shifting into high gear. In a flash, a brilliant idea strikes Sejun. His eyes sharpen with manic excitement. If they want magical crops, and I need outside supplies, this is a golden business opportunity. With a cunning grin, Sejun sets his trap, offering the red wrap treat to the unsuspecting glutton Theo. Sejun cackles, intoxicated by his own genius, while innocent Theo happily accepts the bribe, oblivious to the scheme. But as Theo relaxes, Sejun's expression darkens instantly. A critical flaw in the plan suddenly strikes him. Breach of contract. Sejun lunges to confiscate the goods. Theo screams, clinging desperately to his prize as chaos erupts. Sejun crushes Theo with legal threats, only to pivot instantly, wearing a manipulative smile reserved for corporate negotiation. CO for an hour. The bribe lands perfectly. Theo's eyes sparkle with renewed ambition. Sejun's plan is back on track. To appease the temporary CO, Sejun becomes a living chair, while the rabbits serve a piping hot feast of grilled fish. The ultimate weapon is deployed. As the treat touches his tongue, Theo dissolves into pure, trembling ecstasy. Drunk on snacks, Theo demands more fish. Sejun agrees with a gentle smile, but his eyes remain sharp and calculating. Sejun drops the real question: how do you survive the monsters? Theo smirks and flashes the golden badge on his chest. The power of money. Theo explains the exorbitant fees for the merchant badge, granting the ultimate privilege: immunity from monsters. A flicker of hope for rescue, instantly extinguished. Theo reveals the safe path is exclusive to merchants, no humans allowed. Theo casually mentions the travel time. Sejun asks for their location. The cat replies effortlessly, "Floor 99, meow." What? Sejun's eyes bulge, the number hitting him like a physical blow. Theo tilts his head, confused by the horror. Floor 99. The reality shatters Sejun's mind. He collapses, pupils trembling, as absolute despair explodes in his brain. He thought escape was close. He was wrong. Cold sweat pours down as panic overrides logic, his world spinning out of control. Darkness looms, but is interrupted by a furry weight. Theo slams onto his face, claws out, physically shocking him back to reality. Sejun blinks open his eyes, only to find Theo screaming at the fire, more concerned about his burning fish than Sejun's sanity. Humanity is 60 floors below. Hope feels futile. Yet, obeying the CO, his hands move automatically to save the fish. Staring at the glowing badge, the despair vanishes. If that badge stops monsters, a bold, desperate plan begins to form. Despair hangs heavy over the broken squad. Herbs are gone, and wounds fester. Just as they accept their grim fate, heavy footsteps approach. Death seems to have come for them. Yet, it's not a monster breaking through the fog, but a man and a cat. The legendary Tower Farmer, Park Sejun, makes a grand entrance, with Theo the orange tabby enthusiastically hawking their wares. Despair instantly transforms into a bustling market. Magical veggies float in the air as hunters scramble to pay, while Park Sejun laughs triumphantly at the chaotic scene. A rookie naively asks to join the trade, but Theo's eyes go wide as he mercilessly shatters the dream. Meow? An outsider wants to be a merchant. Only Tower natives can do that. It's common knowledge. Meow. Watching Theo and the rabbits joyfully feasting on fish in the rain, the bystander's composure cracks. Torn between jealousy and hunger, he can only scream helplessly from the sidelines. The scream reminds Sejun of his past. Back then, freezing rain extinguished his last hope, and he roared at the sky, cursing this damned dungeon with everything he had. His heart-wrenching roar shattered the silence, startling the farming rabbits and the queen bee, and reaching the ears of an ancient being. The administrator heard his despair. Unaware of the dragon's gaze, Sejun continued venting in the field, only to be startled by Theo and the rabbit. His fury instantly turned into embarrassed scolding. After the outburst, the cold reality remained. Sejun closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and the confusion cleared. Since he could not escape, he would make this his home and survive against all odds. He clenched his fists, staring ahead with steely resolve. Theo and the rabbit stood silently by his side. In this moment, the transformation from survivor to Tower Farmer truly began. Meanwhile, in the bustling human world, two seemingly ordinary tomatoes sit on a desk as corporate giants Michael and Jenny engage in a serious conversation about a mysterious merchant. Jenny crosses her arms, confidently casting the bait. Michael, a titan in the hunter world, picks up the red fruit, skepticism written all over his face. Magic cherry tomatoes? This better not be a joke. Michael reveals his corporate arrogance, mocking her judgment. But Jenny stands her ground, trading barb for barb. The air in the office instantly freezes, thick with tension. With a click, the hologram activates. Jenny reveals her ACE data showing that tomatoes directly boost metabolism and burn fat, a miracle defying scientific explanation. Staring at the fluctuating data, Michael is dumbfounded. Jenny sits elegantly on the sofa, savoring his predictable shock. Though we can't mass-produce it, this effect is enough to upend the market. Greed instantly ignites as Michael slams the desk, demanding her motive. Jenny finally plays her hand, calmly stating her price: the underground farming project Michael considers trash. Cold sweat runs down Michael's face. Jenny isn't just asking for a project, she's striking a nerve, implying that if he doesn't cooperate, these resources will be used to cure his father, threatening his inheritance. Jenny leans in, holding the fate-altering tomato, her gaze sharp as a knife. The board is looking for your replacement, Michael. What's your move? Cornered, Michael cups the tomato, a twisted grin spreading across his face. If this is the bargaining chip, he might as well taste it first to see if it's worth it. The moment he bites down, exquisite flavor explodes in his mouth. Michael erupts into maniacal laughter. This isn't just delicious, it's infinite wealth and power, and it will be his. Savoring the lingering taste with eyes closed, the blond man coldly rejects his partner's request, his arrogance revealing a greedy obsession with the magical fruit. Meanwhile, deep in the tower, Sejuan sketches a survival map in the dirt. To protect his family in this dangerous world, he decides to secure a perimeter. But this land is not peaceful. When Sejuan asks about threats, Theo's casual tone freezes as he mentions a terrifying presence lurking nearby. The crimson giant bear the name strikes like a nightmare, triggering Sejuan's memory. Beside him, the rabbits and Theo tremble, fear spreading through the air. Since leaving is too dangerous, Sejuan decides to fortify. Watching the tomato flowers bloom, he realizes the deadly poison bees might just be the perfect natural guards. A bold plan forms. He will harness the bees' patrol instincts and weave ropes from onion leaves, turning the cave entrance into an impenetrable fortress. As the rope drops, Sejuan climbs with all his might. Sunlight hits his sweaty face, and in that moment, the hope of escaping this desperate situation burns in his eyes. But before that, business calls. Sejuan entrusts the arduous sales mission to Theo, bestowing upon him the grand title of General Manager. The scene shifts to the 38th floor hunter camp, days later. The sunny valley buzzes with anticipation, as the crowd anxiously awaits the legendary merchant. From a high rock, Theo looks down at the walking wallets. Seeing the massive crowd, he grins, his greedy little mind already calculating the profits. With a lightning-fast entrance, Theo lands in style. The crowd erupts, cheering for the kitty tycoon as if greeting a savior. But enthusiasm turns to chaos as someone tries to cut the line. Angry protests erupt, and order begins to crumble before greed, the scene spiraling out of control. Silence! Theo commands, instantly freezing the crowd. Amidst the chaos, a sharp glint appears in his eyes as he prepares to announce a market-shattering decision. The shrewd cat drops the bombshell. No more lines, highest bidder wins. The announcement strikes like thunder, leaving every hunter in shock. Rain pours, but it can't dampen Theo's arrogance. Standing proudly in the storm, he announces the starting bid. No money, no magical tomatoes. The mastermind behind it all is Sejuan, deep underground. Understanding supply and demand, he orchestrated this auction to reap a fortune from the outside world. Business strategy set, the farm work must go on. Sejuan stretches, energized, and orders the black rabbit to start dinner, practically seeing the gold coins rolling in. Suddenly, a system notification breaks the peace. The Thunder of Black Dragon administrator has issued a mandatory quest, a cup of special honey tomato juice. Sejuan sighs helplessly at the interface. Though he grumbles about the administrator's whims, he has no choice but to comply for the mysterious skill reward. Rich red tomato juice swirls in the cup. Before offering it to the dragon, Sejuan pours around for the gathered rabbits, the warm aroma instantly healing their fatigue. To appease the administrator, Sejun prepares the ingredients with care. Suddenly, his eyes sharpen skill activated. He crushes the tomatoes with explosive, comical violence. As crimson juice sprays everywhere, Sejun laughs maniacally. The queen bee is ready. At his command, her subjects cheer and join this chaotic cooking ritual. The queen adds her purest honey, Sejun squeezes the final zest, and the colors blend perfectly. With a sparkle, the special cherry tomato honey juice is born. Here, cheers! Sejun confidently offers the drink to the void. A notification pops up. The administrator is flapping their wings in excitement. Wait, wings? Sejun pauses, puzzled. In a hidden realm, the massive black dragon slurps the drink. The sweet, rich flavor instantly conquers her taste buds, her eyes turning into hearts with pure bliss. Expectant, Sejun clicks the reward, only for his jaw to drop. Ding! Acquired special job skill, beekeeping LV.1. His eyes widen in utter disbelief. Shock turns to elation as he reads the details. This skill means the bee family will stay with him forever. Sejun clenches his fist and whispers a sincere thank you to the administrator. That gratitude transcends space. The black dragon hugs her glowing crystal ball, blushing, her gaze softening. This human, Sejun, has touched the softest part of her heart. But the sentiment lasts only a second before gluttony takes over. The dragon rolls on her luxurious rug, staring at the empty cup, consumed by one thought: refill, please. The administrator connects telepathically, but Sejun's mind wanders strangely. If they eat this much and have wings, are they a flying pig? A ridiculous image forms in his head. Big mistake. The dragon erupts in fury. Sejun is instantly bombarded with a screen full of insults. Idiot! Moron! He cowers, having no idea what triggered this sudden rage. Meanwhile, the outside world is in chaos. As a new auction begins, a hunter sweats profusely, desperation in his eyes. If I don't get those tomatoes, I'm done for. The bidding war explodes. 41 coins! A man raises his hand high. To avoid disappointing his daughter, he's going all in, leaving his companion stunned by the insane price. It's total anarchy. 45! 50! Shouts clash in the air as the crowd fights over the basket held by Theo the cat. The price skyrockets uncontrollably. Suddenly, a roar dominates the field. 100 coins! A mysterious silver-haired man shouts the astronomical bid, instantly silencing all competitors with his overwhelming presence. Sold. Theo hoists the tomatoes, grinning ear to ear. 100 coins is pure profit. The crowd can only watch in envy as the shocking transaction concludes. Whispers ripple through the crowd as someone recognizes the figure. It's Michael McLaren, the famous Hunter Prince. Why is such a VIP here personally? Cover blown, Michael is caught red-handed by a guild peer. Sweating awkwardly, he stammers out a flimsy excuse. My aunt just wanted to see the cat. Watching this, his rival seethes with rage. The big sharks are circling, and the competition is getting brutal. 2 auctions left. He grinds his teeth. I will not lose the next one. The chaos outside doesn't dampen Theo's mood. The merchant cat waves his paw goodbye to his patrons. In this crazy world, tomatoes are the only true currency. The atmosphere at the auction snaps tight as Theo raises a paw, announcing the new round like a battlefield commander, instantly igniting the crowd's desire. The price skyrockets to 100 coins, leaving onlookers stunned. As Theo ruthlessly slams the gavel, someone trembles in despair, but the next slaughter begins immediately. A gray-haired tycoon dominates the floor, buying the entire stock. This blow crushes Kim Tonsik, who collapses to his knees, heart-wrenching at the thought of his waiting daughter. The winner leaves in triumph, clutching his prize. As Theo prepares to depart with his earnings, a familiar voice calls out, cutting through the commercial chaos. Theo spins around, eyes sparkling with recognition. It's the snack giver. He waves his paws excitedly, a grin stretching from ear to ear, forgetting all merchant dignity. Just as Michi offers snacks for a selfie, Theo stares with glowing eyes. When she politely declines eating them herself, the greedy cat looks baffled. Someone who doesn't need snacks? Turns out Theo is eyeing her instant coffee. Mistaking it for a delicacy, he greedily demands salt and pepper too, leaving Michi completely speechless at his absurd taste. Michi plays along, laying out the coffee and spices. She solemnly tricks the naive cat, demand these from humans, and he'll be treated like a noble CO. Imagining Sejuan's praise for the loot, Theo gloats with pride. In return, he generously leaps into Michi's arms, letting the camera capture the heartwarming moment. Taking advantage of Theo's good mood, Michi finally reaches for his paws. As her fingers sink into the soft pink pads, she sighs in pure bliss, lost in the joy of petting. She squeezes too enthusiastically, startling Theo into pulling back in terror. Panicked, Michi apologizes and pulls out red snacks to bribe the cat master back. Seeing Theo's confusion, Michi gently explains humanity's obsession with paw pads. Her words make Theo feel incredibly special, turning his wariness into proud, bouncy excitement. Bursting with confidence, Theo starts working the crowd, showing off his pink pads to the girls. He proudly declares his paws magical, basking in the attention like a celebrity. At the shutters click, Theo poses perfectly, even playfully kicking out a leg to steal the scene. The savvy business cat delivers on his snacks for selfies promise. Photo op over, Theo instantly reverts to merchant mode. Seeing the box full of gold bars and chocolate, he lets out a villainous laugh, while Michi just finds him adorably cute. Just as Theo gets lost in dreams of being CEO for a day, he remembers his actual mission. He grabs his loot and vanishes into the forest like a gust of wind. Michi barely posts the photo when a familiar voice sounds in her ear. She spins around to find Theo, who had supposedly left, perched on her shoulder asking about her origins. "How did you know I'm from Korea?" Ignoring Michi's shock, Theo twitches his nose, claiming it's her unique scent. Then, the shrewd cat makes a new request. Seeing Theo's mischievous, brilliant grin, a drop of cold sweat runs down Michi's temple. This cat is definitely plotting something. The curtain rises on the story here. Meanwhile, deep in the 99th floor of the tower, under giant tomato vines, bees busy themselves with sweet nectar while Sejuan meditates, unaware of the chaos his crops have caused outside. Sejuan beams at the golden liquid. A sweet chime confirms his success. His beekeeping skill has leveled up. Scrutinizing the hive stats, a realization hits him. The upgrade allows for 2 hives, meaning he can finally split and carry the colony. While pondering storage jars, he yanks a carrot from the soil. Suddenly, a shout shatters the peace. "Rabbits!" Bracing for an attack, he realizes it's just a hunger charge. He holds up his prize, and the system pings. A rare, agility carrot harvested. Faced with those starry, pleading eyes, Sejuan sits down with a smile, handing out carrots to the eager little gluttons. The rabbits cheer around the bonfire, thanking Sejuan for the feast. The dark cave is now filled with warmth and gratitude. Examining the glowing carrot, he's stunned by its stats: fat burning, agility boosting, and eyesight improving. It's not just food, it's a power-up. One bite confirms its delicious potential for sales. Nearby, the rabbits work tirelessly, carting away the bountiful harvest. Determined to succeed, Sejuan and the rabbit family work in unison, turning the underground farm into a bustling hub of productivity. The black rabbit topples over again, stuffed full. Sejuan can't help but chuckle at the little glutton's clumsy contentment. Work finishes in record time. To his shock, a crisp chime announces a major milestone. He has reached level 10. A sudden special quest pops up, confusing him. Even the administrator denies involvement. It seems this is the key to his class advancement. While other hunters battle bloody monsters, his quest as a farmer is uniquely peaceful. Expand the farm by 1,800 square meters. Looking over the neatly arranged crops and freshly tilled soil, Sejuan sighs with relief. Mission accomplished. Rewards flood in. Level 11, dungeon coins, and a god-tier skill that grants experience just for tilling the land. Adrenaline fades, replaced by sheer exhaustion. He collapses onto the dirt. Night has fallen. It's time to rest. Just as he settles down, a commotion erupts at the rabbit hole. Several rabbits come flying out in a chaotic tumble. Seeing the disheveled rabbits, Sejun realizes the truth. They've grown up and were promptly kicked out by their parents to be independent. Sleep with me tonight. Seeing the homeless little ones, Sejun offers a warm invitation, and they huddle together for comfort. Surrounded by fluffy warmth, Sejun closes his eyes. Despite the danger of the dungeon, his heart finds perfect peace in this cozy embrace. Deep in the forest, Hunter Kim Tonsik sits slumped on a rock, sweating anxiously about how to face his daughter. Suddenly, footsteps approach. He turns in surprise to see the orange cat in the green scarf sauntering towards him. With zero self-awareness of being a mere cat, Theo stands proudly among the armed hunters. His eyes gleaming with merchant shrewdness, he cuts straight to the chase. "Hey human, are you the boss? Interested in a deal?" With the intervention of this magical cat, the tense jungle standoff instantly transforms into a negotiation full of possibilities, marking the beginning of a miraculous interdimensional connection. Deal sealed. Kim Tonsik stares at the massive sum for Sejun's family, but before he can react, Theo waves a paw. With a heavy thud, a torrential rain of fresh, red cherry tomatoes pours down, instantly covering the grass. Staring at the priceless treasure, Kim's phone buzzes. A text from his daughter reads, "Dad, you're my hero." In that moment, the tough hunter melts. Tears blur his vision as he clenches his fist, swearing to protect this happiness. Composing himself, Kim tentatively asks about Park Sejun's identity. Remembering Sejun's strict order to keep his location secret, Theo's eyes glint with mischief as he sighs dramatically, beginning his flawless deception. "Master Sejun is the benefactor who saved me on the 40th floor." Theo lies smoothly. Kim's pupils dilate in shock, cold sweat dripping down his face. "What? The 40th floor?" The number explodes in his mind like thunder. Kim is utterly overwhelmed. Even top hunters barely reach the 39th floor, yet this Park Sejun treats the 40th like a backyard. Instant reverence and fear for this unseen hidden master fill his heart. In Kim's imagination, Sejun transforms into a solitary god of war standing atop a cliff. Ambition ignites. Recruiting such a powerhouse to the guild, or even monopolizing the tomatoes, represents an unimaginable opportunity. Driven by this glimmer of hope, Kim doesn't hesitate to bend down and solemnly sign his name on the contract Theo offers. This is more than a trade. It's a pact leading to power. The crisp sound of the device activating breaks the silence. Clutching the basket of tomatoes, Kim's eyes burn with fierce determination as he makes a 10-day promise to Theo. "Tell Master Sejun, I will not fail." Watching Theo leave, Kim clutches the bag of seeds, a relieved smile spreading across his face. With him on the job, Sejun's family will be well taken care of. This is his promise to the master. Meanwhile, on the 99th floor of the tower, the rabbits are furiously expanding the underground base, their digging speed leaving Sejun dumbfounded. "Wow, finished already?" Not just fast, but incredibly well built. The rabbits proudly show off their new home green onion roofs and sturdy clay walls. Sejun gives a thumbs up, feeling a surge of fatherly pride. Seeing a rabbit lounging comfortably on a leaf mat by the door, Sejun feels a pang of jealousy at its enjoyment. "That looks like a VIP lounge. Even I want to move in there." With the new homes complete, a ceremony is in order. Gently patting the bunnies' heads, Sejun announces loudly, "Let's throw a housewarming party tonight." Cheers instantly echo through the cave. Night falls, and firelight dances on happy faces. Sejun raises his cup, toasting his hard-working companions. "Cheers to your hard work, and to the home we built in this desperate place." During the feast, Sejun picks up a homemade carrot cup and pours fresh red tomato juice for the black rabbit. Admiring the unique vessel, he muses, hollowing out a carrot for a cup, truly a genius idea. But then, the scene shifts hilariously. After finishing the juice, the rabbits casually crunch down on the cups themselves. Sejun freezes, mouth twitching. Is this the legendary edible ecoware? Watching the harmonious rabbit family, Sejun suddenly thinks of the young ones kicked out to live independently. A thought strikes him. Since the elders pushed the kids out, it looks like the farm is about to welcome new life soon. A crisp chime heralds the blue window Sejun has been waiting for. He slaps his thigh, beaming with relief and joy. He was so busy, he almost missed the seed shop's grand opening. Fingers dancing across the virtual screen, Sejun scans the list greedily. When he spots iceberg lettuce, he gulps, practically hearing the crisp, refreshing crunch in his mind. The tomatoes are ripening beautifully, but they're reserved for a future barbecue. Sejun rests his chin on his hand in a happy dilemma. He has the funds, but he needs to make a rational choice between potatoes and pumpkins. Carbs or power? Sejun hesitates no more and buys the potato seeds. Coins clink virtually, and with a flash of light, a heavy sack materializes out of thin air. But before his smile can fully bloom, a heavy shadow looms overhead. Sejun looks up in terror as the massive sack whistles through the air, crashing down like a meteor straight at him. Boom! Dust plumes as the ground cracks upon impact. Sejun collapses, heart pounding, while the black rabbit, enraged by this sudden airstrike, glares furiously and readies for battle. Facing his furious partner, Sejun offers a sheepish apology. But as his trembling hands open the sack and pull out a plump potato, his lingering fear instantly melts into pure culinary desire. Stew, fries, hash browns. The recipes race through his mind. Sejun raises a fist, swearing to start planting tomorrow, and the rabbits, infected by his passion, cheer in unison. Toying with the potato, Sejun's thoughts drift to Theo outside the tower. Meanwhile, in the sun-drenched town of the neutral zone, the orange cat carrying the family's hopes faces a severe test. The bustling market is alive with noise. Having secured bedding, Theo trots confidently through the crowd, his twitching ears scanning like radar for the next item on the list: kitchenware. His eyes lock onto a shiny frying pan. He picks it up excitedly. The vendor, a seemingly friendly werewolf, smiles and quotes a price of 1.6 coins for the eager customer. Discount, meow, Theo boldly demands. Amused by the small cat's guts, the vendor generously offers to drop it to 1.5 coins as a welcome gift, but that's not enough for Theo. Lower! Meow! Theo yells, eyes wide. The vendor's smile vanishes. He crosses his arms, voice hardening. No can do. I gotta eat too. 1.5 is the limit. Take it or leave it. Suddenly, Theo chirps, "Bye, Dad," and walks away. This bizarre emotional confusion tactic freezes the vendor. Watching the cat leave, he grits his teeth and caves. Fine. 1.3 coins. 1.2 or I walk. Theo delivers the ultimatum without looking back. Defeated by the shrewd orange tabby, the vendor laughs bitterly and seals the deal, watching the bargaining demon strut away. Staring at the coins, the vendor realizes he was completely outplayed by a cat. Scratching his head in the sunlight, he isn't mad, just impressed by this hidden business prodigy. Ducking into a quiet alley, Theo clutches his prize, tears of excitement welling up. He did it. He faced a cunning human merchant alone and won the tough negotiation. I didn't get scammed. Meow. He jumps with joy, confusing passers-by. His mind flashes back to Sejun's confident lecture, the top-secret training titled 3 Steps to Avoid Being Fleeced. In his memory, Sejun ticks off the 3 golden rules. First, look disgusted. Second, pretend to walk away. Third, if they stop you, lowball them mercilessly. It's an invincible tactic. Sejun was right. Theo clenches his little fist, laughing maniacally. By following these rules, he's evolved into the ultimate merchant cat. No one will ever scam a single copper from him again. Sunlight floods the cobblestones as Theo struts forward, his mood soaring. Suddenly, a familiar green figure appears ahead. Is that a friend? The air freezes. That sinister grin, that jar, it's Scarum. The nightmare returns, and Theo's eyes widen in sheer terror as cold sweat runs down his back. Sheer panic contorts Theo's face. Before he can flee, the gears of fate spin wildly. This time, there is nowhere to run. Rain lashes the town square. Scarum corners a hooded victim, but Theo steps in, burning with righteous fury. I won't let you fool another newbie! Like a bolt of lightning, Theo swoops down. He lands between them with a cocky grin, greeting his nemesis. Hey! Long time no see, pal! Scarum feigns friendship, clamping a heavy arm around Theo, but strikes. Suddenly, the hooded figure speaks, coldly shattering the goblin's lies. Don't trust him. He's a fraud. The truth is out. The hooded stranger dismantles Scarum's lies with cold logic. Theo watches in awe as the tables turn instantly. It's all garbage. Theo's rage explodes. Scarum panics, sweating profusely as he stammers weak excuses, fear written all over his face. Guards! A scammer! Theo screams. Cornered, Scarum drops the mask, his face twisting into a demonic glare as he threatens revenge. You're dead, Theo! They narrowly escape the attack. Safe for a moment, the mysterious stranger thanks his rescuer. I am Theo, meow, he replies with pride. Theo bows politely and bids farewell, warning the stranger to stay safe. A warm moment, but he has no idea who he just saved. As Theo vanishes, the stranger's demeanor shifts instantly. The timid facade melts away, replaced by the cold, glowing gaze of an elite agent. Mission aborted. Smoke clears as the tactical squad rushes in. Jairus removes his hood, annoyed. His perfect sting operation was completely ruined by a random cat. The squad hangs their heads. We secured the perimeter, but that cat appeared out of nowhere. Even the elite team couldn't predict this chaos. Jairus clutches his head in agony. Months of undercover work wasted. Go back and write a 100-page report now, he barks in frustration. Eyes flashing with fury, Jairus delivers the punishment and storms off. Behind him, his squad trembles in terror. The price of failure is high. Jairus reviews the case file. Scarum is cunning. They needed to catch him in the act to prove the fraud. It was a meticulously planned hunt. They were seconds away from the arrest. Jairus recalls the moment vividly until that meddling orange cat dropped from the sky and ruined everything. Regaining his cool, Jairus strokes his chin. Theo! This reckless merchant who stood up to Scarum has piqued his interest. A new target emerges. Meanwhile, oblivious to the chaos, Theo skips through the sunlit forest, whistling a happy tune. I did a great deed today, meow. Sejun grins, holding a potato to teach a skill. He swings his hand, startling the poor rabbit into a terrified shriek. The rabbit catches on fast blade glowing. It slices the potato instantly. Then, it seriously explains soil moisture levels. While watering the seeds, Sejun boasts proudly, turning 100 potatoes into 400 seed potatoes is pure genius. Slurping ramen, Sejun marvels. Who knew a random farming video he watched would become the key to survival in this tower? Looking at the plowed land, Sejun reminisces about the rabbit's childhood, then pivots. But before the sweet potatoes, we need the vines. These vines are reusable treasures. Sejun's words spark realization. The black rabbit's eyes flash red. It's time for tactical farming. As the system levels up his skill, the black rabbit roars commands. The white rabbits cheer, their morale exploding through the cave. Sejun wants the XP, but seeing their passion, he holds back. He clenches his fist. Fine, let them have the joy of planting. The farm is bustling. Some hoe, some push carts, while the black rabbit gasps for air, utterly exhausted by the labor. It's not just farming, it's extreme sports. They scale steep cliffs, Sejun dripping with sweat, struggling with every step. Finally, a magnificent sweet potato field sprawls out. Sejun stands tall, exhaustion replaced by awe at the 4,500 square foot green miracle. Surprise follows. Even without planting it all himself, the system awards massive XP. Sejun beams with pure delight. To celebrate this grand moment, the rabbits can't contain their joy, erupting into a cheerful, chaotic dance in the fields. Sejun is confused, but the system explains it's the dance of abundance. Even the Tsundere Dragon Administrator is chanting along. As Sejun prepares to harvest, a strange glimmer peers through the soil. Something extraordinary is awakening beneath the earth. The moment he touches it, gold light explodes. Blinding radiance swallows the darkness, sending Sejun and the rabbits scrambling back. The light fades to reveal a golden, vein-wrapped sweet potato, the legendary sun sweet potato, pulsing with underground solar energy. System alerts flood in, new species created. Sejun's eyes widen in disbelief. He's become a crop inventor in the dungeon. Suddenly, the scene cuts to reality. On a sunny city street, a black car screeches to a halt, shattering the peace. A man in a black suit steps out, locking his gaze on the apartment. His voice is cold and certain. Sejun's family lives here. Stepping out of the black sedan, the man in the suit clutches a yellow gift box tight. A frown creases his forehead, creating an air of palpable tension beneath the surface of this quiet arrival.